Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 20th, 2026, and we're going to talk about the huge financial boost that Barcelona just received in the Champions League. Also, we're going to talk about all the records that Barcelona players set during the victory against Newcastle. And finally, we're going to talk about Thierry Henry's statements in regards to Barcelona's performance. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. And as I told you guys before, I am currently traveling. I'm currently in the city of Barcelona, ready to watch the Barcelona versus Rayo Vallecano match on Sunday at the Spotify Camp Nou. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'm going to be watching the Barça Femení against Athletic Club de Bilbao at the Stadi Johan Cruyff. I'm going to be taking my camera to both stadiums. I'm going to be making a video about the Stadi Johan Cruyff and a video about the Camp Nou, so stay tuned to that channel. I didn't make any videos yesterday because I was traveling. I traveled all night, got here Friday morning. I was out all day. Right now, it's actually 4 in the morning. I wanted to sleep, but I said, no, Mo, you cannot sleep. You have to make news videos. So let's dive right into the video because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Barcelona's financial boost in the Champions League. Now, as you know by now, Barcelona defeated Newcastle 7-2 for an 8-3 on aggregate, qualifying to the quarterfinals. And thanks to this qualification to the quarterfinals, Barcelona have received a 12.5 million euro bonus for qualifying to the quarterfinals, which bring Barcelona's earnings in the Champions League to a total of 100 million euros. More specifically, 100.34 million euros. So with this bonus of qualifying to the quarterfinals, Barcelona have now made 100 million euros in the Champions League. Now, of course, as Barcelona continue to advance, they can make more money. If Barcelona qualify to the semifinals, that's an extra 15 million euro bonus. If Barcelona qualified to the final, that's an extra 18.5 million euro bonus. And then if Barcelona win the Champions League, that's another 6.5 million euro bonus. Now, winning the Champions League would mean, of course, that Barcelona would get to play the UEFA Super Cup. That's an extra 4 million euros just to play in that competition or that match. And then if you win it, it's an extra 1 million euros. So far, Barcelona have made 100 million euros, but if they were to win the Champions League and win the UEFA Super Cup, Barcelona could make upwards of 140 million euros or 140.34 million euros. So 100 million euros so far. Huge financial boost for Barcelona. And of course, this is why it's important to do well in these competitions. It's not just glory, it's not just prestige, but it's also lots of moolah, baby. Anyway, speaking of the Champions League, we do have a great update. Well, actually, two great updates because, of course, in the match against Newcastle, we saw Joan Garcia go down to the ground and grab his left leg. And, of course, he had to be subbed out where we saw Wojciech Szczesny come on in his place. And this, of course, raised a lot of alarm bells amongst the fans thinking, oh, my God, what is happening with Joan Garcia? And, in fact, after the match, a lot of reports started coming out saying that Joan Garcia will be out for 3 weeks. But don't worry, because Barcelona themselves have issued a report stating that after undergoing medical exams, it's been revealed that Joan Garcia is not injured. Ladies and gentlemen, Joan Garcia is not injured. And this is why I always say whenever a match is over and we see a player getting subbed out for injury and they're like, Mo, I heard it's going to be a month. I heard it's going to be 10. And I'm like, yo, calm down, guys. Medical exams are always done the next day. So if a match is on Saturday and you see a player get injured or get subbed out and you start hearing rumors and how long they're going to be out, they're all bullshit. Medical exams don't happen until the following day. And that's exactly what happened. Newcastle match was over. All these reports started coming out about Joan Garcia being out for 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 5 weeks. Lo and behold, following day, he undergoes medical exams and voila. It turns out he is not injured. It looks like Joan Garcia simply felt some discomfort and he decided, hey, I feel some discomfort. I want to be safe. Let me get out, which was the smart thing to do. The last thing you want to do is play through discomfort, because then it can really become an injury and then he can miss the rest of the season. So Joan Garcia was being smart there, felt some discomfort, requested substitution, did medical exams. He's completely fine. But that's not all, because we also saw Eric Garcia abandoning the field. He also underwent medical exams, and Eric Garcia is also not injured. He too felt some discomfort and said, yo, I want to be safe. Let me get out of here before this actually gets worse. Smart thing to do. And lo and behold, Eric is also not injured. Now, both Joan Garcia and Eric Garcia did not train today with the team, but this was simply a preventative measure. And instead, Joan Garcia and Eric Garcia did a special, specific preventative workout in the gym. So they didn't miss the training because they were injured. They missed the training today because they're doing special regimen to strengthen the muscles and avoid their injuries, because, of course, we're entering the final stretch of the season. We need all of our players healthy. Now, let's move on to the next bit of news, because we do have to talk about records, because several Barcelona players broke several records during Barcelona's win over Newcastle, starting with Robert Lewandowski, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Polish striker, one of the greatest strikers of our generation, if not in the history, broke Lionel Messi's record during the win over Newcastle, which was the amount or how many different opponents he has scored against. Now, the original record was set by Penaldo. Penaldo had scored against 38 different opponents in the Champions League. That record was broken by Lionel Messi, who was able to score against 40 different opponents in the Champions League. And while the victory against Newcastle, Lewandowski broke Messi's record, because Lewy has scored against 41 different opponents in the Champions League. An amazing record for the 37-year-old striker, who, again, one of the greatest strikers of our generation. Now, that's not all, because Lewy set another record. He became the oldest player to score 2 goals in a Champions League match at 37 years old, 209 days, breaking Inzaghi's record that was set back in 2010 when he played for Milan, and where he scored 2 goals against Real Madrid at 37 years old, 86 days. So Lewandowski is now not only the player who has scored against the most different opponents in the Champions League, but he's also the oldest player to score 2 goals in the Champions League match. Now, that's not all. That's not all. There's more records, ladies and gentlemen, because Lamine Yamal scored his own record against Newcastle, where he became the youngest player to score 10 goals in the Champions League at 18 years old, 248 days, beating Kylian Mbappe's record that was set in 2017, where Kylian Mbappe had scored 10 goals against in the Champions League at 18 years old, 350 days. So Lamine Yamal breaking Mbappe's record by 102 days, becoming the youngest person to score 10 goals in the Champions League. But that's not all. That's not all, ladies and gentlemen. There's more records. Yes, the Furminator, setting his own record. Now, the Furminator so far in the Champions League has 6 goals and 4 assists. That's 10 goal participation for the Furminator during this 2025-2026 Champions League season, making him the first Spanish Barca player to reach double digits in a single season of the Champions League. Absolute amazing numbers, amazing records by all of the Barcelona players who broke several records during that victory against Newcastle. Now, speaking of Newcastle, I came across this pretty interesting post which showed the following. It showed how Barcelona had spent 91 million euros on their starting lineup against Newcastle, as opposed to Newcastle had spent 98 million euros on their starting lineup. I thought this was interesting because this just highlights the importance of our academy, because to spend less and win by 7 goals, that tells you that, ladies and gentlemen, we truly have the greatest academy in the world. Now, let's end today's video with some statements by the Barcelona and Arsenal legend and French legend Thierry Henry, because he had some wonderful statements to say about Barcelona's victory in Newcastle, or against Newcastle, I should say, where he said the following: "What happened isn't a victory. It's a global earthquake, a night that will go down in history. What a second half. A complete transformation, a different character, a lethal determination. This is the real Barcelona. This is when they want to, they can do anything. They're an incredible team. You watch them play and think, wow, they look so convincing. Then you see them at home and it's as if we've got Johan Cruyff's dream team back. Newcastle completely collapsed in the face of the attacking onslaught. Stopping Barcelona like that, it's almost impossible. This is the face of Barcelona under Hansi Flick. We will overtake them on goal difference, come what may. When a team gets fired up, it leaves nothing behind. Congratulations, Barcelona. Europe is beginning to feel the danger." So Thierry Henry, incredibly impressed with Barcelona's performance, saying that this is the Barcelona that he wants to see, that reminds him of the dream team against Johan Cruyff. And I got to say, with that second half performance, I 100% agree. I think this team has what it takes to go all the way. But of course, it's not a matter of whether they can, it's a matter of whether they can maintain that level. Because even in that win against Newcastle, the first half was abysmal. Second half, that's a Champions League winning team. First half, not so much. So it's not that this team is not capable of. They're more than capable of winning the Champions League. The question is, can they maintain that performance that could allow them to win the Champions League? And I'll turn that question to you. Let me know down below in the comment section. What do you guys think? Anyways, that is all for this video. I'm going live in a few more moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Viscarce.